am witnessing an epidemic of violence in America. I'm sure you are too. You see it every night. Specifically, I'm talking about youth violence, and it will destroy us, by the way. Did you know between the ages of 10 and 24, homicide is the leading cause of death for black folks? The leading cause. The second leading cause of death for Hispanics, homicide. That means if you're a young person of color, you have more of a chance of dying at the hands of a murderer than you do any other way. Something is wrong. We can blame society, we can blame economics. The left, of course, can blame systemic racism, even though nearly all of these murders are minority on minority crimes, and not, I repeat, and not at the hands of police. But I blame the parents, absent fathers and mothers way too young to be raising children. The traditional family unit in our inner cities is a thing of the past. Kids have no accountability anymore. They're not being taught right from wrong. And forget about life coping skills. Those are non-existent.
That was my baby. And they took that. They took her from me. They took my baby.
So in Cincinnati this week, a 13-year-old girl used a pocket knife to murder her one-time friend. A pocket knife. 13-year-old Nairi Givens. Have we reached a point now in time where 13-year-olds resort to violence like this? Clearly. I guess we have. And this murder comes on the heels of that 16-year-old in Columbus, shot and killed by police when she went wild with a kitchen knife. Seen here trying to stab the girl in the pink. Do you want to know what the apparent motive in all of this? The reason why someone would want to kill her friends? They told her to clean the house. Clean the house because their foster mom doesn't like it dirty. Clean the house. This is what I mean when I tell you kids have zero life coping skills and sadly zero regard for human life. And yet, what does the media do? The media focuses on cops, as if cops are somehow the problem.
Almost 1,000 people have been murdered by police, have been killed by police.
Police have tremendous latitude to use deadly force, fine. But the problem is, at this point, everything police say to me is just a claim that needs to be proven.
Now it's time to get a return on our investment by protecting our lives against bad cops.
These white, domestic, state-sponsored terrorists, which is what Derek Chauvin and his 3 accomplices were that day, the state-sponsored terrorists.
He's talking about police officers who will give their life to keep all of you safe. It's the world we live in today, folks. Every day in this nation, here's a stat for you. 13 young people will be murdered by another young person, 13 of them. An average of 1,642 kids will go to the emergency room to be treated for injuries suffered during an assault. Look at the stats on your screen. It's heart-wrenching. The epidemic of youth violence will cost us $20 billion a year in medical and productivity costs. $20 billion. And yet the devious media and their Democrat puppet masters will tell you we need police reform. What we need is inner city family reform. This should not be commonplace. This. Look at this. We see girls beating up boys, all-out melee, brawls every day inside some fast food joint. A rumble is not what it was in the 1960s. Today, kids bring guns. In fact, the CDC estimates 50 to 60% of urban youth will be exposed to neighborhood violence in some areas, like parts of Chicago. That number will climb to 100%. You live in some neighborhoods in Chicago, 100% you'll be a victim of a violent crime. Meaning sound bites like this from a grieving father are becoming far too common.
I held her. I watched her as she died. I watched her, held her. All I could do was just hold her. No.
That's the dad whose daughter was killed with a pocket knife. So what's the answer here, folks? Certainly not doing away with police. That's not the answer. Churches can help. Educate kids not to have babies at such an early age. Children raising children rarely works out well. I doubt we will ever be able to restore the traditional family unit, but we can all step up, help inner city kids find role models and mentors. The Boys and Girls Club is awesome, by the way. Sports, coaches especially involved in kids' lives off the field, they can make the difference. And if you don't have time to help, donate money to these organizations that can. We cannot give up on a generation of inner city kids that appear to be lost in a sea of violence. Now imagine what it's like for a 7-year-old to put their head on the pillow at night and hear gunshots while trying to go to sleep. All the while trying to wonder, is my brother coming home? That's the life for far too many kids in America, and it has to change.